sure how this works, but here we go.
I look weird. Like, I don't.
You don't look weird.
Don't. I
I
look
think you're
weird.
just so used to having a mask on.
Hi, Katie.
Pressure's on. All right.
Okay. Hi, my name is Messiah.
Hi, my name is Avi.
My name is Isis Trinoa. I'm in 8th grade, and I am mixed. Hi, my name is Michelle.
Okay. I'm Melissa. That little button will be red.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Winter. I was asked how my experience of learning about racial justice from white teachers went.
Really well. I really enjoyed the unit. It was so much fun.
I guess it wasn't expected. It was definitely different. I thought like someone, I guess, of color would come teach it.
It was interesting. My experience was, it was okay. I appreciate Megan and Katie for doing the best that they can because they're white, but I will say I would have appreciated if I had someone who I could personally connect to, maybe like BIPOC or a woman of color.
And I think it went all right. I'm white, so I could relate to not knowing about like having that experience of experiencing racism or being discriminated against. People might think that that sounds like really weird and like, oh, we were two white women, but I think that it went really well.
I'm also glad that they took ownership of the fact that they don't know what they're talking about sometimes.
I mean, it was kind of the same. Like they understand. They don't like really understand what it's like being treated, right? Like they kind of feel you in a way.
But I also think I missed some personal element of it. Like there's a difference between caring about racial justice and racism and experiencing it.
But I'm glad they picked Black authors and Black spokespersons to like not necessarily come to the school, but to do most of the educating for us, if that makes sense.
I loved Stamp.
Stamp.
It was such a good book.
One of the best books I've ever read.
The book was really helpful. It taught me so many things.
It's not like you're just reading like I guess you're just reading. It's like you're kind of having a conversation with the book. This
Right.
might,
Like
might
a
seem
person,
weird.
rather
Yeah.
than. And it was also amazing to learn about Angela Davis and Phyllis Wheatley because I had never heard about them. I always in school in history class I had learned about like Christopher Columbus, which wasn't the very best because I'm also native. But I did read Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, which was good for me because he's one of the only famous mixed people I know. He talked about this feeling that you have to pick a side, and he just talked about a lot of stuff that was easily related to, easily understandable for me as a mixed student, as someone who looks up to him as someone who owns being mixed.
I would read it again. My mom read it once I told her about it.
I read When They Call You a Terrorist, and it was one of the most eye-opening books I've ever read. And while sometimes uncomfortable, it was really amazing because I felt like I was getting that experience I was missing from learning from white teachers.
And I feel that the books and the videos and the discussions were very helpful because I felt like I was being heard.
And I think that their use of resources was really helpful for them to be teaching. And yeah, and then, like I said, the books and videos and stuff was really helpful and I think necessary since they are not people of color.
Every time I hear about what we did, it just makes me uncomfortable.
I will say there were times that I felt uncomfortable because when we talked about our racist experiences, or like, I guess what it felt like when something that had to do with like racism was going on around you, I didn't feel again like that personal connection. Like I could connect with other students since there was only like 3, 4, maybe 5, less than 10 students of color in my classroom who I could talk to that about.
I feel like I'm more mature compared to the other kids about this subject. So I never really found comfortable.
That may be different for other people, but for me, I didn't feel uncomfortable.
No. I don't know if I felt uncomfortable. I just felt unsure. And I'm sure other students could relate to that. Like, I'm not sure if this is okay. I'm not sure if this isn't okay.
I did not feel uncomfortable. I think Megan and Katie did a really good job. I think there wasn't really nothing to be uncomfortable about, because all the stuff was already happening. Yeah.
I felt uncomfortable sometimes, I guess, which is to be expected from a topic such as this. The videos and the books made me uncomfortable at times just because they got graphic or I couldn't relate. Overt and covert racism, we learned about that, and that made me uncomfortable because I realized, sometimes like I could pick it out now, and it made me uncomfortable to talk about because I realized, oh, that really exists, I guess.
Yeah, I never found comfortable. Kind of felt more welcomed to the classroom, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I was just unsure as where I fit in this spectrum of white student or student of color as well, which is why I chose to read Trevor Noah.
I feel like if my teachers could have been people of color, they could have shared their experiences.
I think it would have been more relatable.
I think I would have related to them more.
Maybe I could have talked to them of how I felt whenever I was speaking Spanish at a store and there was someone white behind me, or I could talk to them of like, I don't know, simply just how different it was being at a school where the most majority of kids that go here are white. So that would have been nice.
And while I learned a lot, I think I would have having that personal experience of someone who isn't a white person would have been beneficial, and I feel like I could have understood more how racism and racial justice affects people.
They'd probably like have more connection, right, towards the subject.
I think it might have been weirder for white kids to ask questions because you catch people doing some racist stuff when you're light skinned.
We talked about like history, like racial history, and like with Stamped, and I think that was great. And then we talked about like current issues and like police brutality.
Is there anything you wish we would have covered? I would say a little bit more of the George Floyd incident that happened last summer.
Is how like the system is unjust to those who are of color.
Just what cops do that is just terrible and just shouldn't happen in a society.
Kind of like to like the slavery days. I don't feel like that's as important. Like it was like, yeah, it's a big thing. Not saying it wasn't important. I'm just saying like I feel like it's more important to talk about what's going on right now than what was in the past.
And then finally, the last question is any final words? And my final words are, I appreciate teaching this class. I wish I had learned about this when I was younger so that I could grow on it, but at least I learned about it and I can continue to expand my learning.
This is what happened. It sucks. It's true. And we're going to educate you about it because this is who we are. This is our history.
It's like we're gonna grow up and we're like the next generation. We can change it in the future.
I need to fix this stuff. I need to be better. I need to be a better person.
And I want to say thank you to Meg and Katie for giving me this learning opportunity so that I could share with others and recommend this book, Stamped Racism, How to Deal with Racism and How to Be an Anti-Racist. And yeah, thank you for listening to everything that I had to say.
Cool. And Doggy, thank you. I guess.
So yeah. How do I turn it off?
I feel like I look goofy.
No, you don't look goofy. Yeah. Bye, guys.
I hope I did okay. Yeah. That's it.
This was awkward.
I'm just gonna leave it. Just gonna leave it.